You know, what if that heavy feeling of exhaustion you get, or your most terrifying dreams, or even your natural body clock? What if none of it was random? What if these are all hidden signals? Well, we're about to decode 3 new scientific discoveries that reveal what your body might be trying to tell you every single night. So here's our game plan. We'll start with the big questions we all have. Then we're going to zoom right into the brain's power grid, investigate whether nightmares are a kind of health warning, and then tackle that whole early bird versus night owl debate. And finally, we'll pull it all together to figure out what your sleep is really telling you. I mean, think about it. We spend about a third of our entire lives doing it. But why? Before we jump into the brand new science, let's just start with those fundamental mysteries that, let's be honest, we've all wondered about at some point. You know that exact feeling I'm talking about, right? It's not just, I'm a little tired. No, it's a physical weight. It's that undeniable sleep pressure that just builds and builds all day long. But what is that really? What is physically happening inside our brains that makes shutting down completely non-negotiable? And then there's what happens after we finally fall asleep. Are those really terrifying nightmares just, random brain static? Or could they be some kind of urgent message coming from our own body? And finally, let's talk about timing. We're constantly told to rise and grind, that waking up at 4 a.m. is the secret to success. But is it really the key to productivity, or is our society just completely ignoring a fundamental biological truth about us? Okay, let's tackle that first huge question, that powerful, fundamental urge to sleep. To really get it, we need to zoom way, way in. I'm talking right down to the cellular level deep inside your brain. So, say hello to the mitochondria. You can just think of these as the tiny, tiny power stations inside almost every single one of your cells. They're working around the clock, converting the food you eat into the actual energy your body needs to, well, do everything. All right, so here is this radical new idea. As your little cellular power stations, the mitochondria, are busy producing energy all day, they also create a kind of exhaust. Think of it like tiny, high-energy electrons that leak out. Now, these rogue electrons, they bounce around and cause a little bit of damage to the cell. And your brain, it has these special damage detectors that are basically monitoring this whole process. Once that damage hits a critical level, these neurons literally flip a switch. It's like a circuit breaker. And that forces your brain into sleep mode. It becomes a mandatory shutdown so repairs can be made. And this is a huge conceptual shift. It means that feeling of tiredness isn't just in your head. It is a direct physical signal. It's your cells literally telling your brain, hey, the power grid down here is overloaded and it needs urgent maintenance right now. So sleep is the brain's official repair shop. But what happens when that repair process itself becomes terrifying? Well, that brings us to nightmares, which some incredible new research suggests are actually far more than just a bad dream. While most of us have a bad dream every now and then, for a pretty significant chunk of the population, we're talking up to 6%, they are a frequent, weekly event. And new research is telling us we need to take that very, very seriously. Okay, brace yourself for a truly staggering statistic. A major analysis looking at over 180,000 adults found that people who have nightmares at least once a week are 3 times more likely to die before the age of 70. Let that sink in. 3 times. Yeah, just let that sink in for a minute. This isn't some minor correlation. According to this research, frequent nightmares can be a stronger predictor of premature death than smoking or even obesity. It's like a flashing red warning light from our own brains that we just can't afford to ignore. So why is that? Well, it seems nightmares might be an early warning sign for a whole host of serious health issues, sometimes showing up years before any other symptoms. And in some cases, like with cardiovascular problems, the intense stress from the nightmares themselves might actually cause damage by promoting things like inflammation. So we've looked at the why and the what of our sleep. Now let's get into the when, because in the battle of the daily schedule, our society has definitely crowned a clear winner. It's pretty clear that society favors the early bird, right? They're seen as more disciplined, they often report feeling happier, and they can even earn more money. But here's the twist. The data shows that being a night owl isn't some kind of moral failing. It's just a different lifestyle pattern with its own unique set of social tendencies. And this right here gets to the absolute heart of the matter. Whether you're a morning person or a night owl is not a choice. It's not a character flaw. It's what's called your chronotype, and it is largely determined by your genes. You can't just decide to have a different body clock. It's baked into your DNA. Okay, so we've covered cellular mechanics, terrifying dreams, and the genetics of your personal body clock. Now let's pull it all together. What is the one big takeaway from all this cutting-edge research? It really all comes down to this. Your sleep is an incredibly sophisticated communication system. That overwhelming feeling of tiredness, that's a direct signal from your cells demanding repair time. Those frequent nightmares, they could be a critical health alert. And your natural sleep schedule, well, that's just a reflection of your own unique biology, not some measure of your discipline. So the next time you feel that irresistible pull towards your pillow, or you wake up from a bad dream, or you find yourself struggling against your natural rhythm, maybe just pause for a second. Your body is trying to tell you something incredibly important. The only question is, are you listening?